We suffer more from our imagination than from reality, and we are more often scared than harmed. It is frequently difficult for individuals who fear death to improve the lives of others. Living a wonderful life in the middle of turmoil might seem unattainable, as life resembles a large stage filled with unknowns and hurdles. There is a timeless concept that provides us with the fortitude to flourish as well as endure. Stoicism is the name for this mode of thought, which has its roots in classical Greek philosophy. Throughout history, it has aided many individuals by providing them with courage, wisdom, and serenity. Today, we're embarking on an extraordinary adventure that delves deeply into the essence of living a remarkable life. The early 3rd century BC philosophy of Stoicism is more than simply a collection of ideas or moral precepts. It's a lifestyle informed by the profound teachings of some of the most well-known Stoic thinkers. In order to overcome negative emotions, it teaches individuals how to be strong and in control of their emotions. According to this ideology, individuals should be judged by their deeds rather than their words, and virtue is pleasure, much like learning. That we cannot rely on events outside of our control and must take responsibility for our own actions. However, how is today's world relevant to this antiquated philosophy? Regaining a connection with our true selves, our actions, and our worldview is facilitated by Stoicism. It's about finding serenity in a world we can't alter, concentrating on improving rather than becoming wealthy, and rising to the occasion when horrible things happen in a time when pursuing external achievement may leave us feeling hollow and unhappy. In essence, this concept provides us with the means to have extraordinary and meaningful lives. We'll examine 7 key insights from some of the most well-known Stoic thinkers. A major tenet of this philosophy will be covered in each section, along with recommendations for applying the teachings to real-world situations. Our voyage will take us through exciting times via the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, whose ideas are a timeless guide to live with elegance and purpose, and the lessons of Zeno, the man who invented Stoicism. Epicurus gave us the ability to distinguish between forces that are within our control and those that are not. Seneca imparted to us the value of strength. We will get a greater understanding of how our emotions function from Epictetus, and we will learn the value of discipline from Musonius Rufus. Despite the fact that every individual has an own viewpoint, all of their courses go to the same destination, being exceptional. This is about becoming remarkable in our own right. That is, in our capacity to face life's challenges head-on, hold fast to our values, and discover inner strength and serenity, rather than about being extraordinary in the eyes of others. We shall discover the continued applicability of Stoic philosophy as we go through these topics. You will discover how the self-help movement, psychiatry, and business today have adopted these antiquated concepts. We'll discuss how practicing Stoicism, or being conscious of and in control of our emotions, may help us, adapting and gaining control over ourselves, our whole mental health and well-being. The study of virtue, according to the Stoics, may lead to a happy and meaningful existence. We'll start by learning this. This vacation is not only about learning, it's also about changing. It's about creating a better, more interesting future for ourselves by using the lessons we've learned from the past. You should consider how the teachings in this book apply to your own life in the context of music. Consider your issues, your priorities, and the kind of life you want to lead as we go through each one. Recall that being extraordinary is a journey rather than a destination. Gaining self-awareness, improving, and mastering oneself are continual processes. Understanding and applying the profound truths of Stoicism is the first step. Then let's begin going on this journey together. Let's explore around, learn, and expand as a team. Let us draw inspiration from the wisdom of the Stoics and apply it to our own journey toward a fulfilling life. Welcome to this cerebral voyage. Music. First off, we visit Zeno, credited with founding Stoicism in the 3rd century BC. Cyprus was Zeno's birthplace. After his ship sunk and he arrived in Athens, he started on the road to Stoicism. He discovered the true treasure of philosophy there, among the shattered remnants of his material possessions. His teachings, which were eventually dubbed Stoicism, did not originate with cerebral contemplation. Rather, they sprang from actual issues and the pursuit of purpose in life. Zeno's famous statement, "Well-being is realized by small steps, but is truly no small thing," encapsulates his philosophy. This profound remark demonstrates the Stoics' view that leading a decent life should be accomplished gradually and methodically. He made no demands for sudden or dramatic transformations or grand displays of understanding. Rather, he promoted the concept of daily modest acts of kindness that build up to a significant impact on your happiness and well-being over time. His lessons were centered on fundamental concepts that would eventually mold Stoicism. Among them, living in harmony with nature comes first. This, he believed, entailed understanding the natural order of the world and being aware of our role within it. It was about finding our own position in the greater scheme of things and letting life happen as it happens. There is more to this relationship with nature than merely environmental concern. It also involves understanding the basic qualities of humans, which include intelligence, sociability, and goodness. Indeed, the core of his worldview was virtue. He argued that the greatest thing is honor and that all else is meaningless, including life itself, money, and health. This does not negate the significance of these issues. It just indicates that they lack inherent goodness. They only work well when put to good use. According to him, a good life is one that makes sense, and it is this sense of fulfillment that leads to genuine happiness. What applications of Zeno's theories can we see in modern life? Making things easier is the first step. Returning to simplicity may be a brave act of Stoicism in a society where some people may find capitalism and greed to be too much. This does not entail living a Spartan way of life. Living in harmony with nature and morals does not include giving up things that are superfluous and concentrating on our values, interpersonal connections, and personal development. Making sure that our actions are consistent with our basic principles is another helpful thing we can do with these teachings. To do this, we must reflect deeply on our values and make sure that our daily activities are consistent with our convictions. It has to do with living a life that aligns with our beliefs and ideals and being genuine. Because our actions and our beliefs are in harmony, this link helps us feel honest and at ease. Lastly, cultivating awareness is a crucial component of living in balance with the natural world and moral principles. According to Stoics, mindfulness is moving with intention and reason, being totally present in the here and now, and being conscious of both ourselves and our environment. It's about understanding how our thoughts, emotions, and actions relate to the natural world and our pursuit of virtue. Resolving life's issues with composure and clarity instead of reacting impulsively or emotionally is made possible by practicing mindfulness. Zeno's teachings provide us with a solid basis for leading extraordinary lives. By exercising mindfulness, ensuring that our behaviors are consistent with our underlying principles, and embracing simplicity, we may make gradual progress toward virtue and pleasure. We gradually transform into persons who, grounded in wisdom and inner serenity, not only endure life's ups and downs, but also thrive on them as a result of adopting these practices into our everyday lives. Second lesson, recognize that things change. Marcus Aurelius is the person who most embodies the Stoic ideal that we encounter on our journey through the knowledge of Stoicism. Aurelius was a fervent follower of Stoicism and a Roman emperor. Another name for him was the philosopher king. Despite having to cope with ongoing issues like political upheaval, pestilence, and war, he was a smart and good ruler. His personal writings, included in Meditations, provide us with a glimpse into the thoughts of a man who looked for solace in trying circumstances. He said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." A central tenet of his worldview is this sobering reminder of how fleeting life is. It's an exhortation to live rapidly because we are aware that each moment is fleeting and precious, not because we are afraid of dying. He saw life as a fleeting opportunity to do good deeds and improve the world. These days, when things are constantly changing and sometimes too much to bear, his theories on how things change and how to accept them are extremely helpful. Marcus Aurelius demonstrates to us that change is both inevitable and essential to existence. We learn new things from change. It pushes our ideals to the limit, and it helps us evolve. He counsels against resisting change and instead views it as a natural process that is a part of everything in the universe. He adhered to this concept personally, and journaling is a helpful tool for doing so. Journal writing encourages reflection on life experiences, adaptability to change, and our progress towards Stoic principles. It aids in our introspection, writing and reflection's power, and improve by providing a space for us to record our ideas, emotions, and intentions as well as track our progress over time. We may discover inner serenity, clarity, and stillness by writing in a book. Considering change as a natural process is another important lesson from Aurelius. To achieve this, we must come to see change as a normal, essential aspect of life, rather than as something negative or frightening. Being aware that everything is always changing may make us stronger, more adaptable, and less resistant to change. Regardless of what is happening around us, this point of view gives us the ability to cope with life's uncertainties and find stability inside ourselves. The most crucial lesson we might have learned from Marcus Aurelius is to always be in the now. He tells us that all we really have is the time we are in. He advises us to use our finest judgment, be kind, and savor the current moment to the utmost, despite the fact that we are often mired in the past or preoccupied with the future. Being really present enables us to appreciate the little pleasures and miracles in life, deal with issues calmly and clearly, and establish a stronger connection with it. His teachings on embracing change and death are practical advice for leading a more fulfilling life, rather than just lofty ideals. By keeping a journal, reflecting on how things change over time, and paying attention to the present, we may cultivate a strong, adaptable, and profoundly connected mind. We honor Aurelius's legacy and make a significant advancement toward becoming distinctive in our own right by doing this. The third lesson is called the power of being strong. Seneca's wisdom and practicality make him one of the most significant thinkers in Stoic philosophy. Seneca was a statesman, writer, and Stoic philosopher who advised Emperor Nero. Despite the difficult life he lived, which culminated in his being driven to commit suicide, his writings remain an invaluable resource for guidance on leading a moral and resilient life. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body, as Seneca famously remarked. This potent quotation encapsulates his approach to strength and suffering. Instead of seeing life's setbacks as unfortunate events, he saw them as opportunities to grow and learn. He believed that, similar to how physical exercise strengthened the body, mental and emotional challenges strengthen the intellect and heart. Examining his teachings on resilience reveals a worldview that is crucial to understanding the issues we confront today. It's critical to learn how to use adversity as a source of strength in a society where stress and problems go hand in hand. He shows us that the way we handle challenges is what gives the experience authenticity. The way we respond to an incident is more significant than the event itself. Seneca's teachings may be used in the actual world by learning to see obstacles as opportunities. This will need a shift in the way we approach challenging concepts. Rather of seeing them as issues, we want to view them as opportunities for goodness, growth, and learning. For instance, a setback at work might be seen as an opportunity to reconsider our career path, pick up new abilities, or transform ourselves for the better. Developing mental fortitude. By changing the way we approach situations, we may both better handle them and draw lessons from them. Seneca also emphasizes the need of practicing gratitude as a coping mechanism for difficult situations. It's easy to lose sight of the positive aspects of our life, but we may become happier and more resilient if we take the time to recognize and value what we already have, such as supportive relationships, excellent health, and even little everyday joys. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we do have, resulting in a strong and abundant mindset. Finding brightness in the midst of darkness was one of his philosophy's core concepts. Developing mental toughness is maybe the most crucial resilience skill he imparts. This entails strengthening and stabilizing your mind to enable it to withstand life's ups and downs. Seneca said that thought, self-control, and unwavering adherence to Stoic principles are the keys to developing mental toughness. It involves teaching the mind to remain composed and reasonable in the face of adversity, to maintain perspective, and to be true to our ideals and convictions. You must intentionally use Stoic wisdom and consistently cultivate mental toughness. It is not innate. His life and teachings may teach us how to persevere in the face of adversity. If we see life's challenges as opportunities to practice gratitude and develop mental toughness, we may not only overcome them, but also emerge from them stronger and wiser. By doing these actions, we give ourselves the courage and fortitude to face challenges head-on. What may have been our greatest setbacks end up being our greatest teachers and chances for personal development. We may design a life that isn't without issues, but rather one in which they aid in our development and evolution by adhering to Seneca's principles. This perspective on resilience focuses on dealing with hardship head-on and in a healthy manner rather than rejecting or avoiding it. It's about comprehending that our greatest character traits are formed in our most trying circumstances. we realize that resilience is a journey rather than a destination. With this profound understanding, we can face any challenge in life and realize that we must always adapt, learn, and develop. Adopting the Stoic perspective on resilience allows us to face life's obstacles with grace and fortitude, turning every setback into a step toward living a more amazing life. Lesson 4. Choice and Power. Epictetus is the last book in our study of Stoic knowledge. His life narrative demonstrates the tenacity and fortitude of Stoics. Epictetus had a difficult existence with several limitations, as he was born a slave in the Roman Empire. However, his enthusiasm never wavered, and he went on to win his release and establish himself as a well-known strict instructor. His teachings, contained in the Discourses and the Enchiridion, provide us with a profound comprehension of both what it is to be human and how to live in peace. Perhaps what makes him most famous is the distinction he makes between what we can and cannot control. He said, "Some things are in our control and others are not." At its core, Stoic philosophy is this simple but profound notion: the influence of internal reactions, that because we have no control over them, things like our belongings, reputation, and even bodies are unimportant. Our own choices, beliefs, and reactions are the only things that really matter. This distinction is crucial in the modern world, when we often spend a great deal of time and energy fretting about what other people are doing. Epictetus advises us to concentrate our efforts and attention on the one thing we have control over, which is our own thoughts. If we comprehend and absorb this distinction, we may find serenity and resilience in the midst of life's challenges and unknowns. One approach to apply Epictetus's teachings in actual life is to concentrate on one's own reactions and choices. Rather of assigning blame to other individuals or the circumstances, we must accept accountability for our responses to the events occurring around us. For example, we don't have to give in to despair or rage if we don't succeed at work. Alternatively, we might decide to respond with vigor and originality. When we shift our focus and realize that our true strength is in our inner world, we feel stronger. His philosophy also emphasizes the need of developing mindfulness. In this context, practicing mindfulness implies being conscious of all our thoughts, emotions, and actions at any one time. It's about choosing our intentional reactions by taking a critical look at our inner selves. When we start worrying about things we can't control, mindfulness practice helps us gently refocus our attention on the things we can control. Not only does this exercise improve our emotional state, but it also facilitates adherence to Stoic principles. Letting go of what other people anticipate happening is one of Epictetus's most challenging but liberating teachings. In a society where our worth is often determined by the opinions of others, it may seem odd to disassociate oneself from outcomes. However, he informs us that inner tranquility and freedom originate from the outside, not from it. Let go of our need to achieve certain outcomes, and we may live a life that is flexible, adaptive, and happy. We learn to give it our all without being too dependent on the outcome, and to trust in our ability to overcome any challenge that may arise. His teachings on control and freedom provide us a solid foundation for living a calm and informed life. We may develop a solid inner core that remains steady and tranquil, no matter what occurs in the outer world, by concentrating on our own actions and decisions, engaging in mindfulness practices, and letting go of what other people do. There is no passivity or apathy in this approach. Rather, it refers to engaging with life from a position of inner strength and self-reliance. We may distinguish between the cyclical nature of external events and the consistent progression of our own decisions and mindsets by drawing insights from Epictetus. We must first recognize this distinction if we are to lead really free and happy lives, where our contentment and tranquility are determined by factors within our control rather than by random events. By engaging in these daily activities, we take charge of our lives and develop the ability to navigate life's ups and downs with bravery, grace, and a strong feeling of self-empowerment. The function of law and order. Section 5. The function of law and order. Upon further investigation of the Stoic lineage, Musonius Rufus is discovered. Though he was as essential to his more well-known Stoic comrades, he is sometimes disregarded. Rufus, a Roman philosopher who was dubbed the Roman Socrates at times, emphasized moral behavior and applying philosophy to everyday situations. Though they are not as well known as those of Epictetus or Seneca, his teachings provide us a profound understanding of the Stoic philosophy. According to Musonius Rufus, It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. This quotation demonstrates how crucial the Stoics considered introspection and critical thinking. His teachings heavily emphasize the need of discipline in living a peaceful life. Rufus believed that self-control was not only a virtue in and of itself, but also the cornerstone of a happy existence. He believed that discipline was necessary for both adhering to Stoic principles and experiencing true happiness. In today's world of endless diversions and instant gratification, his emphasis on control is particularly crucial. In a society where happiness and health are primarily concerned with the here and now, Rufus's teachings emphasize the need of exercising self-control and pursuing lasting values. One practical method we may put what Jesus taught us into practice is by forming daily routines. Routines provide us a method to put Stoic principles into practice, while also providing structure and order. A daily routine might include time set out for reflection, exercise, studying, and other critical tasks. Following a routine makes us more disciplined, which ensures that our activities are consistent with our objectives and core beliefs. Maintaining this level of consistency is crucial for our personal development and keeps us resilient in the face of adversity. Rufus imparts valuable lessons about self-control as well. Self-control, according to Stoics, is not about depriving oneself of all pleasures. Rather, they contend that the key is to choose happiness and delights that align with our ideals. It entails restraint from giving in to our desires and cravings, and making decisions based on the truth rather than our emotions or the opinions of others. Self-control enables us to resist temptations that may divert us from our well-being objectives and to remain on course. Rufus also teaches us to prioritize necessary tasks over fun but unimportant ones. The ability to distinguish between what we really need and what we don't is crucial. Rufus advises us to concentrate on things that improve our lives and foster personal development, such as the joy of learning, the fulfillment that comes from working hard, and the contentment that arises from having strong connections in a society where materialism and selfishness are prevalent. Prioritizing these fundamental pleasures enables us to lead meaningful lives free from the meaningless pursuit of worldly goods and other people's acceptance. Musonius Rufus's discipline lessons, which emphasize self-control, routines, and prioritizing key joys, are a powerful means of coping with the excesses and diversions of contemporary life. It's feasible. Leading a controlled life for Stoic concepts. This disciplined method of living helps us focus on what's essential, develops our character, and provides us with a feeling of tranquility and fulfillment, all of which are consistent with Stoic principles. Musonius Rufus teaches us that discipline is a freedom rather than a restriction. It sets us free from the bonds of unbridled desires and cravings, enabling us to live meaningful lives. We have the freedom to lead fulfilling lives, realize our greatest potential, and positively impact the world. We fulfill the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with reason and nature when we practice discipline by carrying out these actions on a daily basis. This results in a life that is very fulfilling and rewarding, in addition to being successful in the traditional sense. Lesson 6. Knowing how emotions function. We'll examine Chrysippus, a philosopher whose views greatly influenced the Stoic school of thinking, next in our series on Stoic knowledge. Following Zeno, Chrysippus became leadership of the Stoic school. He was an innovative writer and thinker who made a big contribution to the philosophical underpinnings of Stoicism. His writings covered the definition of emotions and their impact on our lives in great depth. His attitude might be summed up by this powerful quote: "No one is free who is not master of himself." The Stoic idea that self-mastery is crucial, particularly over our emotions, is supported by this quotation. Rather than advocating for individuals to suppress their emotions, Chrysippus suggested that people acknowledge their sentiments and respond to them in a morally and rationally sound manner. These teachings on emotions are very helpful in the modern world, since emotions influence a lot of the decisions we make, both as individuals and as a society. He offers an alternative perspective in a culture that sometimes glorifies unbridled emotional expression. Sentiments should be understood, managed, and consistent with human nature, rather than being something to be feared or set free without bounds. Among the practical applications of Chrysippus's teachings is the development of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is understanding your own feelings as well as those of others. It entails being conscious of the triggers for certain emotions, as well as how those triggers impact our thoughts and actions. we might discover that true freedom originates inside by heeding the wise counsel of this renowned Stoic. It entails having the freedom to decide how to respond to events occurring in our environment, to weigh our emotions against reason, and to conduct our lives in accordance with our basic beliefs. We become more in control of ourselves and are able to face life's ups and downs with a level head and heart as we incorporate these teachings into our everyday lives. Taking control of our emotions is essential to live a genuinely fantastic life, as well as a path to serenity and well-being. Conclusion. As we near the end of this chapter, let us keep in mind the teachings of the Stoics. Let their teachings serve as a beacon of hope for us as we strive to lead extraordinary lives. Recall that the secrets of greatness are strength, goodness, and in-depth knowledge of both the world and oneself. This path leads to a profound feeling of fulfillment and significance in addition to accomplishment. Thus, keep in mind the lessons that Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius imparted to you as you go. Take inspiration from their words to strive to be a better person every day, to tackle challenges head-on, and to live each day with intention.